What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out something that I've wondered for quite some time now, and that is King Charles's net worth and income streams. Basically, what is the king worth? This is something that I think a lot of people have probably thought about from time to time. You know, it's just one of those things like, obviously, the king doesn't have a traditional job. And like, you know, from what I understand, they really don't have a traditional career or anything like that. They are the king. And so it's like, what exactly do they earn per year? And, you know, how are they earning that money? And what are they worth?
To be honest, I've never really thought about that. Like, I don't know why I never thought about that. They earn a yearly income.
Well, they have to, right?
Unless they just have like a ton of money.
Well, see, that's something.
Family and
yeah, I obviously, you know, this has to come from their royal duties for the most part. Perhaps property that's owned within the family or something like that.
So who pays them?
I actually don't know.
Do the people pay them like through taxes?
I don't think the people pay them. I think this is paid for. I think they're paid through like ownership of property and stuff. That's my guess.
The Bank of England may have been busy printing money with King Charles III's face on it, but little is known about how much money he makes, or how much he's worth. He's inherited land, properties and other items from Queen Elizabeth II, and one estimate suggests his fortune is some $745 million.
What?
The lack of transparency from the royals makes it difficult to determine exactly how rich Charles is.
Okay, 745 million is an estimate. Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was so secretive.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, throughout the years, you know, all the kings and queens in succession, I mean, like, they've obviously accumulated quite a bit of property, I'm guessing. But from what I understand, a lot of the property is actually owned by, like, the state, by the government, by the people themselves.
Yeah.
You know, so I have no idea which properties are, like, who owns Buckingham Palace? Does the monarch own that, or is it owned by the people themselves?
That's a good question. That's stuff I've never thought
Yeah,
about.
I'm not sure either.
Here's what we do know about his sources of income and what it all adds up to. Charles has always had something of an entrepreneurial spirit. In 1990, he launched his Duchy Originals range of organic oat biscuits.
Really?
Organic oat
Other products
biscuits.
made on the prince's estate.
Whoa. Okay, so that's something I'm just now learning. The fact that he actually launched a business. Like, when I think of a king or queen, I just don't think of them as launching businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you? Like, think about it.
It makes sense, but yeah, I don't really.
I mean, I wonder, did he launch that, or was he just the name and face of it, basically, of the company? Like, they hired him to be the spokesman or something.
I don't know.
Those products were eventually sold exclusively in British supermarket Waitrose as part
Duchy
of the
Originals.
Waitrose.
The brand reported profits of over $4 million last year, all of which was donated to the Prince of Wales's charitable foundation.
Okay.
Wow.
As the Prince of Wales and heir to the throne, Charles also controlled the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate with net
Duchy?
assets
I
of
love that word.
$1.3 billion, which covers almost 130,000 acres.
Holy.
Its net assets have increased in value by 44% since 2012.
What is Duchy of
Charles,
Cornwall?
seeing his income from the estate increased 25% over the past decade.
Wow.
He raked in $28.3 million last year, mostly through rent from commercial and residential properties. Now that Charles is king,
Commercial and residential properties.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So just regular people rent from him?
That's what I'm wondering. Obviously not from him directly. Like, they don't pay him. It would be from the trust or the duchy. I don't
What is
really.
the Duchy of Cornwall?
I have no idea
That's
what that
so funny
means.
to me. I've never heard that term before.
I've heard of it, but I don't exactly know what it means.
I don't know how I feel about that.
What?
Like the possibility of someone in his I don't know what the word would be. Someone of his power,
Of his stature?
being able to own residential properties to rent.
Well, it's not about him being able to. It would just be something he owns. I mean, like, it's not like...
No, I'm saying, like, is he buying up a bunch of residential property to rent? Kind of like BlackRock's doing here.
I don't think that's what that is. I think this is probably, like, properties that have been within the family or within the succession for so long. I honestly don't know, but that's what I'm guessing. I don't think they're going out here buying a bunch of properties and then raising the rent like BlackRock.
That would be messed up.
Yeah, like BlackRock, Vanguard, and a number of other large corporations. They do that, at least here in the U.S., and it shouldn't be allowed because it's one of the major reasons why, housing prices have gone up so much. But yeah.
Duchy of Cornwall, along with its multi-million-dollar income, goes to his eldest son, William.
So he's got that now.
Succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall and takes on the responsibilities for the Duchy of Cornwall, which I have undertaken for more than 5 decades.
Wow. Long time.
But that hardly leaves the king destitute. Charles inherited the Duchy of Lancaster from his mother, worth around $800 million.
Wow.
It consists of more than 45,000 acres of commercial, agricultural and residential properties in England and Wales, and
45,000
provides
acres?
private income for the monarch. The late Queen earned $29.7 million from it last year, and there's nothing to suggest her son won't take home a similar amount. He also doesn't have to pay any taxes on duchy revenue, though he will follow in the Queen's footsteps to pay income tax after deducting money spent on official duties.
Hold on.
Are they talking like property tax?
They're saying I got to hear that again. They said
he doesn't have to pay taxes.
But then they said he does pay taxes.
Income tax.
Right. I said, okay, hold on.
Maybe they're...
And provides a private income for the monarch. The late Queen earned $29.7 million from it last year, and there's nothing to suggest her son won't take home a similar amount. He also doesn't have to pay any taxes on duchy revenue, though he will follow in the Queen's footsteps and opt to pay income tax after deducting money spent on official duties.
Wait, so he doesn't have...
opting to?
So, like, he doesn't have to pay income tax, but he's choosing to.
Yeah, that bumps up my respect for him a little there.
Okay. I think that's what they're saying. Basically, he doesn't have to, which is wild.
Is it because he doesn't have to because he's the king, or he doesn't have to?
The way it's structured,
just
the way
like anyone wouldn't.
The way the income is structured, does he? I'm guessing that most people in that position would probably have to pay taxes on income from the property, but you never know. But I think this probably would be something to do with the fact he's a king.
But the Duchy of Lancaster isn't the monarch's only source of income, or even their most valuable. A large amount of King Charles's income derives from something called the sovereign grant. Here's how that works. In the 1700s, the monarchy handed over revenues from swathes of land to the government, known as the Crown Estate. These days, the Crown Estate makes money on a range of assets, from retail property to golf courses and even offshore wind farms.
Wow.
Those assets are valued at around $20 billion.
Oh, wow.
I take this opportunity to continue the tradition of surrendering the hereditary revenues, including the Crown Estate, to my government for the benefit of all, in return for the sovereign grant.
Every year, the government pays a percentage of the profits made on those assets back to the monarchy. Last year, it totaled more than $106 million.
Oh, wow.
That was used to fund the Queen's official duties and maintain royal residences,
including
Buckingham Palace.
I can't imagine how much that costs.
The king does not personally own the properties making up the Crown Estate and can't sell them for his own financial gain. Unlike the 2 properties we know he inherited from his mother, Sandringham House in Norfolk and Balmoral Castle in Scotland, which has been in the royal family since 1852.
Oh, so he actually owns Balmoral Castle.
Yeah.
He obviously, he can sell those if he wanted to, maybe. That's what it sounds like. But, like, Buckingham Palace
I'm sure there's a lot of red tape.
Other ones he can't sell.
Yeah.
If he straight up owns it, there is no red tape other than the fact you would have...
be, guidelines.
If he literally owns it, I don't think there would be any guidelines. At Buckingham Palace, he can't sell. Those are the guidelines. But if he physically, literally, his name is on the deed to this house, I don't imagine there would be much stopping him from just selling it. Granted, I wouldn't sell it, and I don't think you'd have many people that would be able to afford it.
Right, that's the thing.
But nonetheless, perhaps he could actually sell that. It makes sense that he couldn't sell Buckingham Palace or whatnot. You get a king somewhere down the line that just wants to sell everything. That could be an issue, obviously.
The 80,000-acre preserve in the Scottish Highlands has since been the holiday retreat for Britain's ruling families.
The 2 estates passed from monarch to monarch until Edward VIII's abdication in 1936. when a financial settlement saw them transferred to his brother and Charles's grandfather, George VI.
Oh, wow.
Each was valued between $66 and $79 million by one royal expert. Although a potential market price for this kind of asset is difficult to determine.
I was about to say, I look at Balmoral Castle, for example. We've never looked into it, but just seeing the image there, I'm thinking like 66 million. Did they say $66 million or pounds?
I think it's $.
I did too. But like, to me, that looks like it would cost way more than that. 66 million looks like change for what that would be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking what I've seen, like here in the U.S., you go down to like Miami or some other hot spots, and like you'll see like houses that are like, $40 million, $50 million. We've even seen some on Lake Coeur d'Alene that were like 20 or 30 million. And I'm sitting there thinking they are like nowhere near the size and has the history of somewhere like Balmoral Castle.
Right.
I would assume that would have been like a $200 or $300 million home.
I didn't really think about it, but yeah, you would think it would be more than that.
Last year, a cottage on the Sandringham estate was made available on Airbnb as a holiday rental by North Sideways.
That is
Visitors
cute.
can book the garden house for just over $1,000 per night.
Oh,
Norfolk
per
Highways
night.
couldn't say how
I
much.
was about to say per month. I was like, oh my goodness.
Went back to the royal family.
That would be crazy.
Balmoral Estate in Scotland also rents
beautiful.
out cottages, in addition to selling ticketed tours. The king could also have inherited Queen Elizabeth's personal investment portfolio, the value of which is undisclosed. The palace won't comment on the monarch's wealth or the contents of wills. They say it's a private matter. We do know that Charles paid no inheritance tax on any of the assets passed to him by the Queen.
Wow.
Unlike other UK citizens, royal family members don't have to make their wills public. This means we can't determine what Charles inherited from his mother or father, Prince Philip, so we may never know what he's truly worth.
It's interesting to think about, like, I didn't think about that, like, inheriting funds or money or property from both parents, because I think of like most married couples, they like everything's together, like with one of them dies, it goes to the other spouse, and then when both of them are dead, it probably transfer to most likely their children, right? But it sounds like potentially they had a lot of stuff separate.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression the Queen would probably have a lot more if they are separate funds, a separate property and whatnot. I would think the Queen would have probably owned a lot more. So he probably would have.
Then his dad, Prince Philip.
Just now knowing, he wasn't the king, she was the queen. Therefore, like, I'd be curious to know how much the prince, his dad, would have been worth as well. This was interesting, guys.
It was interesting. The end, did you catch where wills have to be public, but theirs don't?
I know.
That's
interesting.
How does that work?
So we probably actually don't have a clue what the actual full net worth is.
Way more.
Yeah, it probably is, but that's still a large amount of money. And can you imagine being able to call this your home?
No.
It doesn't even matter that he technically doesn't own it. For all intents and purposes, he gets to go here whenever he wants to, I'm guessing, and basically live here, and he does. It doesn't matter that he doesn't own it. It's a place that he will be able to stay for the rest of his life if he wants to. It's pretty wild. I can't even imagine what it's like to live in a building that large.
To be honest, for me personally, I think it'd be kind of annoying to live there.
How far you got to go just to get to another place of the building?
Well, but I was just thinking like the droves of people who are outside your house all the time.
Yeah, but I get it. But like, go in the courtyard, go out back, no one's there. You know what I mean? It's just like you aren't even going to notice people in the front once you're out back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you will have visitors into your house.
That's true.
So
kind of like the White House. Huh?
But I'm thinking that you probably won't have visitors into your wing, like your living quarters.
There's only a certain area I'm sure they get to go into.
Probably kind of like the White House. You can do tours, but you can't actually get a full tour of where the president would be at.
Parts of it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't really know how much he's worth, but
so basically this didn't really answer.
Well, it did answer one thing. It did answer a couple things. We learned that a lot of the property he has access to isn't technically his to sell,
which makes sense.
And also he owns he owns a bunch of land himself and a bunch of property himself, but he also is in charge of a bunch of stuff that he can't really sell, but he makes income from. And a lot of the income that comes in to him technically isn't really to him, is to fund everything around him.
Yeah.
Like I guess security detail and all the maids and butlers.
Yeah,
and
the upkeep. I can't imagine the amount of money it would take to run a place like Buckingham Palace.
I know. Yeah, I mean, like, how many maids would it take to clean this place?
And just the yearly repairs and like upkeep, like.
Yeah. I definitely want to look into some, some of the different royal properties. I think we should do that together. But that's something I've only done like once, maybe twice, looked at any of them. We've looked at a few castles, but never at like the actual like Balmoral Castle, for example.
Yeah.
Windsor Castle. Never I've always wanted to look at Windsor Castle. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, peace.
Bye.